Hello, my name is Lucas. This is a bit of lit. We're making a presidential tier list because I want to read more about the American presidents. Largely one because I like to read biographies and history, and I would like to know more about the country that I constantly complain about on Twitter. Or I guess I don't really complain, but I retweet people that complain. This does not have Joe Biden on it. Um, I don't know if it was made in 2020 before he became president or made by somebody that thinks Joe Biden is the illegitimate president. I'm not here to entertain that idea, but this is somebody else's tier list that they made. I hope everybody's on here. I think everyone except Biden is. Um, I'm fairly ignorant of the facts. I do know U.S. history, but I don't remember a lot of details. Some of them will be in the deep recesses of my mind. I have read about some of the early founding fathers, but even though I've read about Washington and his presidency, or John Adams's presidency, Thomas Jefferson's presidency, especially these three, I have read about them. Um, some of the things that happened deep in the recesses of my mind. Um, James Madison, I've read about, really can't remember much. Oh, I've got these guys in the wrong order. James Monroe again. Actually, I don't think I've read about him. No, no, no. I think I have. And then I haven't read about John Quincy Adams and these kind of things. But I do know some things, say, about. I haven't read about Abraham Lincoln in a biography or a history, but I know about his presidency. Same with Andrew Jackson. I know about his presidency. I've heard things. I've seen documentaries. Again, a lot of these things that I did learn, many of them are in the deep recesses of my mind. If somebody happens to comment about one of the presidents, please feel free to do so. Um, because I'm not going to remember everything that I have learned about them. I do want to make an update after I have read extensively about each president, um, to see where my feelings are now. To get back a little bit to what I was saying earlier, my politics have always, each year, further shifted to the left, especially from when I was younger. I grew up in a very conservative small town in Iowa. Um, and yeah, I met a very radical friend in high school, my last year, my senior year, my best friend, who I don't talk to enough. Very sad, but um, now he's like a disheartened, true blue liberal. But I've gone further left, especially since 2020. Um, yeah, thankfully Brian at Bookish keeps me in check, and when I retweet something that even I, look, once he comments on it, I look at it and I think I know what I was thinking, but I only agreed with part of this, and then in spirit I felt it in my heart for the rest of it. Uh, Thank you for calling those moments out. Uh, but especially the last thing that he commented on, something about the war in Ukraine, uh, made me sort of think like I spend too much time on Twitter, so I unfollowed an ungodly amount of people, um, to sort of cleanse the spirit, cleanse the timeline, the tweet line, or whatever, it's the TL, as they say. And I thought a better use of my time will be to actually educate myself on these people so then I can, in detail, complain about them myself. In my own words. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, we've got S, A, B, C, D, F standard, right? We've got the I don't know for, even if I might know something that did happen, uh, I might not remember in detail. I might not remember that it happened during their presidency, um, and these kind of things. So, or I just don't remember much about them at all, which we're going to see a few of those. So I'm going to put them there. Later, after I've educated myself a lot more, and I can say more about them and what happened, yeah. But, given my current politics, probably, as you can see, we've got not just I don't know, but we've got the Burn in Hell tier. Probably they all belong in there. Um, Some of them certainly belong at least in F. Some of them definitely belong in Burn in Hell. I'm gonna try and be fair and not just put them all down here. Uh, I'm gonna try and, based on what I can remember, judge them on what I think, and then go from there. But we're gonna have a difficult time when we get to this area, and then a little bit with these two. uh, yeah, and even these. I know more about these three, so to speak. Uh, yeah. Anyway, I might only say one thing about each president, just to make this as short as I can. When we do the update, I might go as long as possible. I might even live stream that. That might be fun. Anyway, starting with George Washington, I'm gonna put him, as much as I'd love to put him here, or even here, I'll say C. Not to rock the boat too much. I can't remember too much about what happened in his presidency. Again, if someone comments about some something some decision that was made or something he signed into law, then I would probably, oh yeah, I remember that, and then this was a result, and blah blah blah. But of course, he stepped down. That's a big thing that a lot of people say is remarkable about him, and I do find it admirable in a way. I think that does, in some ways, show this is supposed to be a new founded nation that's built on democracy and this kind of thing, and for him to step down does show some admirable leadership skills. And again, I'm trying for all these presidents, from what I know. Some of them, if I do know something, I only know about the presidency. I'm not going to think about anything before being president. If we were to take into account his ability as a military leader, not just a leader, he would go down here because he is a dolt. But as admirable as that is, to step down, I think about who was able to vote and what rights some people had. For example, slaves did not have rights really, and the land was founded on stolen land from indigenous peoples. But even then, the people that could vote were landed, propertied white men, which calls into question how much of a democracy America really was at the time. You could vote under certain stipulations, and we're ignoring one gender because they could not vote. So, uh, yeah, as admirable as it is for him to step down for the sake of democracy and this kind of thing, and also his comment on the two-party system not being good for the future of America. Uh, yeah, that's all nice, but these days it feels like there are some differences with the parties, but both have corporate interests. So, and also, again, who could vote at this time? Is that really a democracy? Eh, eh, Not really. Yes, in some senses, some respects, but for me, I think not enough of one for me to really admire and respect this decision fully to bring him up any higher. But okay, President, I guess. Especially because he set the standard, which is maybe not such a good thing. John Adams, very interesting character. Certainly my favorite mm, president to read about for the founding fathers. Uh, not necessarily likable. Seems to be very irascible, if I'm using that word correctly. I'm gonna put him in D though, uh, for the Alien and Sedition Act. Um, this is heinous abuse of civil rights at the time, um, which I wish I could speak more about. But we've got to move on a little bit. I don't remember too much else about what happened under his presidency. I know there were a lot of other controversies, but I think these kind of seal it for me. Thomas Jefferson, burn in hell. Don't care about him expanding the territory of the United States because it was just buying land that was stolen from native people, and that just led to further harm and crimes against them. More importantly, though, this has more to do with his character. Uh, Rapist, not also a slave owner. I should have said that first. A slave owner, and on top of that, rapist. Which, of course, George Washington was also a slave owner, but I don't know if he was a rapist. I don't think so. I've never heard that before. John Adams, if I remember correctly, did not own slaves, if memory serves. So thumbs up there, I guess. Uh, but yeah, in terms of his policies, I don't really care. And in terms of his character, I hate him. He's one of the worst people that's been presidents. There are worse too. So he can burn in hell, as far as I'm concerned. James Madison, I know the War of 1812 happened under his. I think it did. It must have. Under his tenure, the White House burned. I don't remember if he invited it to happen because of some of his policies. I don't remember much about him. I just remember the war happened. Can't remember much else, which is embarrassing. But again, like I said, this is out of ignorance. I'm going to say I don't know. Uh, Slave owner, though, so. And again, slave owner. James Monroe, I believe he also owned slaves. Correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of these guys owned slaves. But again, another guy I don't remember. So we're off to a good start. This shows you how ignorant I am. I'm not proud to be ignorant, but I am going to be honest of my ignorance. John Quincy Adams, very interesting guy again. Not someone I have read about, but I do know. I have heard a lot about how his presidency did not go well, but he did serve. Did serve in office after the presidency. I'm forgetting if he was in the Congress or the Senate or something. So he's a very interesting guy, but I think his presidency didn't go well. Unfortunately, because I don't know much about him. I don't remember what didn't go well off the top of my head. Probably if someone says something, I'll be, oh yeah, that did happen. I don't know. Another, ooh, I don't know if he, no, definitely Andrew Jackson, Trail of Tears. Fuck this guy. And that's just one of the many heinous crimes. Oh, also very corrupt. Uh, if I remember right, there were some shady things that happened with him winning over Andrew Jackson, which good in some ways, but also not respectable. And yeah, Andrew Jackson uh, deserves to burn in every circle of hell. This is Martin Van Buren. I believe his first language was not English. And, as for me, as you might be able to tell with what I've said, to quote Nigel Powers, I think is his name, there are two things I don't like in this world: people who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch. And Martin Van Buren spoke Dutch. So, no, I don't. Wait, is this Martin Van Buren? Yeah, this is Martin Van Buren. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Probably nothing good. Um, William Henry Harrison. I do know something about this guy. I believe he died a month into his presidency, so good job there. Didn't have enough time to really hurt the people. So, no. I don't know. And this guy, I don't remember his name. This is John Tyler. Uh, and I really don't know. I'm sure I know something that happened under his presidency, but I don't know what. And this is James K. Polk, 1845 to 1849. Uh, I know he did. Is this the guy that campaigned on running for one term, promising to accomplish four major things and then did so? I think so. Uh, but I don't remember what they are. So, wow, look at that. This is embarrassing. Who's this guy? Oh, Zachary Taylor. Didn't serve for very long. So that puts him up here somewhere. But honestly, I don't know. See how embarrassing this is? Millard Fillmore. I read something about him a couple years ago, and it horrified me, and I'm forgetting. I don't know. And we've got Franklin Pierce. I'm gonna put him down here. Definitely. For some reason, apparently, people rank him as a very attractive president. Why are you people ranking the attractiveness of one, dead people, two, one, U.S. presidents, two, dead people? I don't understand that. But just made the division between the South and the North worse. And yeah, this, of course, led to some severe problems that are coming up. James Buchanan, I don't know. I think he also helped lead to the Civil War in some respects, which is no good. But I'm going to say I don't know really. But definitely Franklin Pierce down here. I don't know. I can't remember all of his policies really. It's on the tip of my tongue. The one I'm thinking of what he did. But we got to keep moving. Abraham Lincoln, another one of these guys that's often ranked very high. Uh, I'm gonna, I don't think he's a C kind of guy, a D. I do know though that while he was president, sure, he was facing the Civil War. Managed to keep it together, win the war. Some of his methods, though, I believe he suspended habeas corpus, uh, or yeah, and did some things with the what could be printed, restricted that freedom. Now there were reasons for this, of course, you know, to help his cause, to help the union and all that. So make of that what you will. Uh, but I'm gonna say B actually. We do have some other issues in the fact that if I remember correctly, well, one, he didn't free the slaves out of moral reason. It was a very political reason. And if I remember correctly, I read that he wanted to. Uh, Let me think of the right term. Is it repatriate or expatriate freed slaves back to Africa? Because he thought that black and whites could not coexist or something like that. So actually, now that I think about that, maybe I should put him in C, but yeah. No, I'll put him in B. Still not a great guy. um, this is Andrew Johnson, right? Yeah, Andrew Johnson. I don't know if he should go here or here. I'm gonna I'm gonna put him in F, uh, cause just man, I don't even know what to say. This guy is just one of the. We're just gonna move on. Some of his policies, man, just heinous. But again, I'm forgetting the name, like the exact things. I just remember. We gotta say I don't know, but I know he belongs down here, because I can't put to words what they are right now. But he definitely, if I remember correctly, I think he was quite shady. Speaking of shady, we've got Ulysses S. Grant. We're going to put him in I don't know. I know his term as president is mired in controversy in terms of corruption, but he did sort of dismantle the KKK, if I remember correctly. So that's got to be worth something, right? Somewhere. But beyond that, I don't really know much. I know. I've also heard that these theories of his corruption are Southern propaganda because he was a Union general. So that is sort of interesting. This is Rutherford B. Hayes, and I'm pretty sure he is the one. I'm going to be embarrassed if it was Andrew Johnson, but I don't think it was. I'm pretty sure Rutherford B. Hayes is the one that, to win the presidency against, who was it? To win the presidency, he promised to end Reconstruction, so burn in hell. So, doesn't matter what else he did, if I've got it right. And, yeah. James A. Garfield, I know he did something bad, but I can't remember what. This is Chester A. Arthur. Again, he was president twice, so we could have put him on twice. Deserves to burn in hell. And who is this? Oh, did I say burn in hell? I mean, probably deserves to burn in hell, but I don't know. Maybe he belongs up here. I don't know. We've got Grover Cleveland here, right? Yeah, again, someone that I know something has happened. I remember reading about it and being shocked. And also reading some things that I was curious about for these guys. And then I think, no, Grover Cleveland. Which one was it? Grover Cleveland? Grover Cleveland was president twice. Because Benjamin Harrison was president next. I don't know. And then Grover Cleveland again. I don't know. That's all I know. He was president twice. Then we've got William McKinley. I know that one for sure. I've heard, if I remember right, the economy was going well under his presidency, but I do believe the beginnings of American imperialism began under him. And that's no good to me. So we're going to put him in F. This might change. I mean, that, and maybe honestly, there were imperialistic things happening beforehand, but I think it really started to flourish under him, if I remember correctly. I'm looking at this purple, I don't know, and I'm just embarrassed. But that's okay. As long as I understand that I don't know, and work to improve that so that I don't speak out of my rear end on matters I don't know and can't discuss properly. I think that's a step for an opportunity for growth, and I will be reading about these guys. So, Teddy Roosevelt, mixed bag for me. National parks and I guess trust busting. Sounds all great and fine and dandy and wonderful. But we've got these imperialist things going on, and with my current beliefs, honestly, they kind of belong here. But for some of those things, I'm gonna put them. Let's see. That kind of hurts. William Howard Taft. I don't really know. I think he did more trespassing kind of stuff, if I remember right. Woodrow Wilson, heinous piece of heinous piece of shit. Can burn in hell. Was a huge white supremacist and believed in the lost cause. And the KKK flourished under him, came back into existence, and also showed birth of a nation. Good lord, the first god awful superhero movie. This guy, who is this? Is this? Oh yeah, that's right. That's Warren G. Harding. I've heard that he was one of the worst presidents ever. I don't know. I think this is Calvin Coolidge. I don't know. I think if I remember right, he is a president that did not like didn't use his executive power extensively, or maybe even reduced its power, or kind of stayed out of people's business in some sense compared to other presidents. At least I don't really know. We will find out one day. Herbert Hoover, right? Am I remembering right? Yes, Herbert Hoover. I don't know. I do know that the beginnings of the Great Depression were, you know, happening or happened under his belt, and I think the beginnings were under Calvin Coolidge, if I remember right, or maybe Warren G. Harding, and then things just kept going and going. But I don't know much about them beyond that. Um, FDR. I do know some things about him, not everything. I know he was quite corrupt. stacked the stacked the Supreme Court to his favor, and a whole host of other things. Um, Led us through World War II, threw Japanese citizens into internment camps. And for that, among other things too, I'm sure there was more imperialism from all these guys. Oh, Woodrow Wilson also, for that, um, what I just said. Probably those other guys that I said, I don't know. In some ways, I feel like yeah, should go here. Um, Maybe even should go here. I'm gonna again say C for I guess his leadership during World War II. Admirable, though quite corrupt. And I mean, lots of great, I guess, great programs, Social Security and some other stuff like that that did help American people, but uh, which people? White people. So flaws in the system, lots of redlining coming. Is it from FDR's policies? Redlining, right? I hate that I am not so knowledgeable. It really frustrates me. Truman, Burn in Hell. I believe Truman used the atomic bombs on Japan, and I understand there's an argument to be made about how that saved at least 1 million American lives. We're not apparently not going to consider Japanese lives, uh, which of course maybe the president would be more concerned with American lives. I can understand that, but also, come on. But they're atomic bombs, and from what I've read, Japan was willing to surrender, but not unconditionally. Or no, oh God. See how I'm embarrassed. Um, I think also a lot of it had to do with the Soviets and showing who's boss, that kind of thing. Um, did the Korean War start under him? When did that start? When was he president? I want to say it did start under him. Seems like it. Uh, Another form of imperialism, in a way. Now, maybe you have some feelings about those. Let me know. Quite controversial. I do see some people listing him in this area often, but for me, using the atomic bombs, these are bombs that should have never existed. Okay? These are earth destroying bombs, and they've only gotten more dangerous as time has gone on. And I know he didn't make them, but you know that sort of came under FDR, but and him, but he used him. So burn in hell. Uh, I don't know too much about Eisenhower, but I do know that he had Operation Wetback, as I believe it's called. Uh, and you can imagine, just by the name, what that meant. um, Pretty horrible in that respect. But that's kind of all I know about his presidency. Uh, Probably more imperialism, of course, but I don't know. But for Operation Wetback, that's all I'm going to say for that. F for him. John F. Kennedy. Uh, Very interesting figure, incredibly flawed, imperialistic, this kind of thing. Bay of Pigs. Ugh. But it's like not a good situation to be in. Oh my god, Cuban Missile Crisis. I almost forgot the name of it. Uh, but I'm literally going to put him in the S tier because he didn't get us all killed. That is it. Uh, oh, you know what though? Vietnam War. Yeah, Vietnam War started under him. So we got to think about that. Bay of Pigs is imperialism. Ugh. Over Lincoln though. But he didn't get us all killed. I'm glad I remembered that. That would have been really embarrassing if I didn't think of his serious flaws. I mean, I did say Bay of Pigs first, but oh, that would have been so embarrassing. No president deserves S tier. Okay, that's just a fact. But it took me a second to think about John F. Kennedy. Let's see. Lyndon B. Johnson. We got to think about the Vietnam War expanding under his rule, but also civil rights come to pass under him, but quite imperialist. D. I think other good programs and laws came under Lyndon B. Johnson, but yeah, the Vietnam War is. I want to put him down here. No, He didn't get us killed, and that, thank you. I like living, I like life. Um, we're getting to the point where I'm starting to know more about them. We're gonna say burn in hell. One good thing I think he did right was the creating the EPA. Oh, one of these guys somewhere around here made the FDA. Was it McKinley? I think, or helped get the FDA, which should be good. I suppose there's some level of corruption these days, but maybe even then. But took a sweet time in the Vietnam War, Watergate, of course. War on drugs, I believe, began under him, or was he? I think the war on drugs started under him, or was he the Law and Order guy? I can't remember between him and Reagan. We're gonna say war on drugs with him. So burn in hell. But he did create the EPA, if I remember correctly. But that doesn't save him. Don't know anything about Gerald Ford. Probably not good. Jimmy Carter. I know his presidency didn't go well. We've got Iran-Contra, which is shady in its own way. One of these guys somewhere dealing, overthrowing lots of countries, honestly, Iran, but leading to further problems that Jimmy Carter then deals with down the line, or maybe because of him. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know that's a whole issue, but very shady circumstances. Gas was a huge problem under him, which seems to be funny to me these days. But the one thing think I do know about him is that he funded people, groups in Indonesia to try and normalize Indonesian relations, and this led to a lot of bloodshed. So we're gonna put F for him, honestly. Oh, and depending on how you look at it, I don't know how I feel about it. Nixon normalized relations with the People's Republic of China, so make of that what you will. Ronald Reagan, burn in hell. Um, Law and Order, or just continuing the war on drugs, expanding on that. Uh, Response to uh, response to the war on drugs in that sense. Response to the HIV/AIDS epidemic, just abysmal and sinful. Oh, I should probably put these in order. Uh, do do do. Ooh. No, no, no. You go over here. You go here, and then you go here, and you here, and you go here. Okay. We were talking about Reagan. His response to the the basically destroying unions, the air traffic control people, just among so many other things that I'm forgetting because I don't know. George H.W. Bush. I kind of don't know much about his presidency. Um, Gulf War though, so no good. Bill Clinton, no good. Again, we're starting to see my more modern politics shape. Oh, well, one thing I don't like about Bill Clinton, uh, that I didn't exactly live, I guess I lived through because I was born at the very, very end of George H.W. Bush's presidency, but and saw all of Clinton's presidency, but I was 8, almost 9 by the time it ended. Um, is that, well, there's one, NAFTA, and I don't think. I remember doing a presentation on that. Oh my god, it was so bad in middle school because I didn't understand it. And wow, I refuse to explain what I said, but it was basically, I'm Canada. I'm kind of rich. I'm America. I'm really rich. I'm Mexico. I'm not that rich. And we're going to work together. NAFTA, no good to me. Moving, just helping capitalists, basically. Also, I think under Bill Clinton, what I was trying to say is that the Democrats moved to more further to the right to try and catch some of the votes that they were losing because the Republicans had been in the presidency for 12 years, so they needed a way to attract voters and money. So that came with becoming more corporate, even more corporate, I guess. And I think that's been catastrophically disastrous for the country. So, um, U.S. and NATO response to Rwanda, or not Rwanda for NATO, but maybe that's for the UN. I'm thinking of Yugoslavia, is what I'm trying to say. I met someone that was from Bosnia, actually, when I was very young. They were a refugee. And, yeah, lots of other things that he did that are not coming to mind, but I kind of want him to burn in hell, actually. But we're going to say F, because the economy improved. Under what? Burn in hell. Patriot Act, oh god, Iraq War, Afghanistan War, furthering the police state, reducing taxes, cutting taxes, I mean. Oh god, the list just doesn't end. But we'll leave it at that. Burning, definitely more than you, and you. and you, and you, and you. Obama. I'm trying to remember the last time I thought positively about this guy. I really hate him, to be honest. F. Oop. F. And then burn in hell, Trump. As for Obama, mm, Syria, Libya, continuing the wars that started in the presidency before him, bailing out bankers, um, lots of other things that are not coming to mind right now. Lots of things I don't like about him. Trying to think of something good that happened. I guess the ACA, but it got so defanged, and there are a lot of reasons for that that have to do with Republicans. Um, but, you know, it's a little bit harder to see the outcomes of what's going, how disastrous or how good or beneficial uh, a president's term will have been based on, you know, just a few years of being removed from it, from the end of it. Mm, I think historians usually say you need about 30 years or so, but to really understand the effects of major events. But I don't like him. I really don't like him. And Trump, I mean, what is there to say? Honestly, even shorter amount of time since he's been president. Uh, but just, ugh. I have amnesia about all. I don't even know all the things. I know all of the bad things that happened under his presidency. But honestly, if you told the entire list to me, I would be like, when did that happen? I don't remember that. What are you talking about? I have amnesia about just how how terrible he is. And if Biden was here, he's only been president for over a year, but I would put him right next to his buddy. Um, Certain things have a lot to do with the aftermath of this guy, uh, which are not entirely his fault, but I just, my big problem with Biden is if if we're going to ignore all the things that he did before he was president, um, which is difficult to do. But as president, I know he did promise that nothing would fundamentally change to some crowd, I forgot which, wealthy people, probably wealthy capitalists. And in some ways, it really does feel like nothing has fundamentally changed. Uh, you probably will disagree if you are very liberally minded, um, and I get that. But I would say to you that it is really bizarre to me how utterly important the 2020 elections were to saving democracy, right? In America, which we can get into based on how much money there is in politics. It doesn't, and the gerrymandering and yeah, the way that Republicans are trying to remove access to people's right to vote in certain democratic areas. Uh, what was that? What was I talking about? Yeah, 2020 election, absolutely vital to saving American democracy and trying to get back to something sane. But nothing will fundamentally change. And if I remember, I think, maybe I'm wrong. I think Biden promised to bring things back to the way they were, uh, which is, in some ways, rhetorically speaking, the same as "Make America Great Again." So, uh, obviously, very different ideas of what made America great don't get me wrong. I do think that there are fundamental differences between Joe Biden and Trump, which is why I wouldn't put Joe Biden or even Obama in Burn in Hell, though probably they do deserve that. Oh, uh, Obama, definitely somewhere down here for drone strikes on Doctors Without Borders and anyway, uh, but for the presidency being uh, coming back to the Democrats with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris being so important, it's really weird that Joe Biden wants to bring things back to the way they were before he became president, which is not going to happen. Like, that's just not what happens. But even if that's what he wanted to do and could do, that's one step away from Trump. So, and this guy also thinks there should be a strong Republican opposition, as does Nancy Pelosi, by the way. Uh, the two figureheads, not figureheads, sorry, well, maybe, depending on how you think about American democracy and the oligarchs of America and their place in America's politics. But I just think, why wouldn't you? He's got corporate interests, that's why, but why wouldn't you really try to make, I mean, really push? I know it's not just him, he's got the Senate and the Congress to deal with, but like, if it's really so important, like, really do something amazing that can help Americans. And, you know, you could say, oh, we've got Build Back Better, there's a Biden boom going right now. And the child tax credit, which from what I understand is now apparently because of Republicans, but I don't see Democrats really vying for it now because they've moved on. Maybe there are. I don't follow internal American politics as much as foreign affairs, but I just think, why wouldn't you really push to make these things happen? I know that vile Democrat in Manchin and the vile one from Arizona, Cinema, something, Semina, I can't remember, often get in the way, which, oh, how do the Republicans have this kind of ability to unite? Because they have no morals, no principles. And the Democrats apparently do, but they can't make. I'm just thinking, bring back to the way things were before that guy. Nothing will fundamentally change. Okay, well, oof, yikes. Why wouldn't you make sure that you help people enough so that people would want to vote Democrat? Oh, because you want to make sure there's a strong Republican opposition. Who are the people that we desperately need to not have voted in so we can save democracy? I mean, there's modern politics. Just, ugh. This is my big issue with Joe Biden. It's like, you have the perfect opportunity if the Democrats are really the people to get behind and believe in, and are vitally important to saving American democracy. Then why in God's name is he not making Democrats toe the line to make sure, do their best to make sure that things happen that will ensure Americans have better lives? I don't know. Because even Build Back Better, because of. We're gonna stop, okay? We're talking about someone who's not even on the list, and we've been talking for 50 minutes. Good Lord. Anyway, bye.